Tracy from the Danbury Library, here with another Globe Trekkers episode. Today we're going to be exploring North America. Are you ready to come on the adventure? Let's go!
As we travel around the world, we've been visiting the 7 continents. These include North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Oceania, and Antarctica. We've been using 2 books that you can find on Hoopla to help us in our journey. These include The Lonely Planet Kids Amazing World Atlas and The Young People's Atlas of the World. Today, we will be visiting North America. North America is packed full of natural wonders. From Niagara Falls to Death Valley, from the Grand Canyon to Mount McKinley, it has some of the most amazing landscapes in the world. It is the 3rd largest continent and has all of the major climate types. This gives it a truly diverse range of plants and animals, including one of the smallest owls and one of the largest bears. The continent is also home to a multitude of people from all over the world and contains some of the largest cities. North America includes Canada, the United States of America, as well as Mexico and Central America. We spoke about Mexico in a previous episode of Globe Trekkers. Sometimes it seems North America does everything in a big way. It's known for big buildings, huge lakes, enormous waterfalls, and other physical features. North American people even think big. Just look at the number of new ideas that have come from here. From walking on the moon to inventing the nuclear bomb, creating jazz, country, and mariachi music, and enormous theme parks. First, let's take a look at Canada. Canada consists of 10 provinces and 3 territories, including Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Saskatchewan, the Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and the Yukon Territory. Canada is a vast, rugged land. From north to south, it spans more than half of the northern hemisphere. From east to west, it stretches almost 4,700 miles. Winters can be very cold, with temperatures dropping to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. However, the huge forest that covers much of Canada's land is home to millions of different birds and other wildlife. Canada is famous for its large animals, which include bears, caribou, gray wolves, moose, mountain lions, muskoxen, walrus, and whales. So who lives in Canada? The original inhabitants of Canada were the Native Americans or First Nation peoples. In fact, the name Canada comes from the word Kanata, which means settlement or village in the language of the indigenous St. Louis Iroquoians. In the 1600s, Europeans settled in the country, and today there is a mix of First Peoples, Europeans, and more recent immigrants from around the world. Most Canadians speak English, but French is also an official language, and there are still over 70 Indigenous or First Nation languages spoken as well. Here are some fun facts about Canada. Since 1965, the maple leaf has been the centerpiece of the national flag of Canada. Maple tree sap is used to make delicious maple syrup, and it takes 30 to 50 gallons of sap to make just 1 gallon of syrup. In autumn, maple leaves change color to vibrant oranges, reds, and russets, and the national parks publish color reports so tourists can find the best places to spot the glorious sight. Have you ever played the license plate game? Well, the license plates in the Northwest Territories are shaped like the polar bear. Canadians use a number of slang terms for their money. The $1 coin, for example, has a picture of a common loon, which is a type of bird, so it's often called a loonie. The $2 coin is called a toonie, a combination of the words two and loony. Canada has between 2 and 3 million lakes. That's more than all other countries in the world combined. In fact, 20% of all water on Earth is contained in Canadian lakes. Throughout the country, there are examples of First Nation art. For 94 years, the Jasper Raven Totem Pole stood in Jasper National Park, Alberta. But when it was found to be rotten, it was sent back to the Haida Nation, which had carved it. In 2011, the Two Brothers Totem Pole was sent to replace the original. And what is Canada's favorite food? Well, Canadians eat more mac and cheese than any other people in the world. Next, let's head south to the United States of America. Here we'll find 50 states and 14 territories. There are several regions in the United States, but we'll look at eastern states and western states, with the Mississippi River dividing the two. The first region we'll look at is New England, which is in the northeast part of the United States. New England includes Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Next, we'll travel to the Mid-Atlantic, which is also along the East Coast, and includes New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia, and Virginia. It also includes the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. In the southeastern part of the United States, you'll find North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. And in the eastern part of the Midwest, we'll find Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. The eastern United States is a vastly diverse region. In the north are bustling metropolises like New York City, Chicago, and Philadelphia that bristle with skyscrapers. The south of the region is hotter and is known for more relaxed pace of life. Many famous pop, country, and blues stars come from this region, from states like Tennessee, Mississippi, and Georgia. Even further south, people flock to Florida for its sunshine, beaches, and world-famous theme parks. On the other side of the Mississippi River, we'll find the western Midwest, which includes Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, North Dakota, and South Dakota. The south central part of the United States includes Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. On the western coast in the south, we'll find Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and California. And in the Pacific Northwest, we'll find Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Oregon, and the state of Washington. Alaska is also in the Pacific Northwest, in the far north, and borders Canada. And Hawaii is an island state that is found 2,500 miles off the coast of California in the Pacific Ocean. In the western United States, there are many incredible landscapes that the United States is famous for. Much of the middle of the country is covered in prairies, grasslands that are perfect for farming. Further west are the towering snowy peaks of the Rocky Mountains, as well as one of the hottest places on Earth, a sweltering desert called Death Valley, in the state of California. West of the deserts and mountains lie the high-tech cities of the West Coast, where new phones and computers are invented and movies are made. So who lives in the United States of America? The United States population is made up of people from all around the world. Just like their neighbors to the north, the first peoples living in the United States were Native Americans. There were once 300 indigenous languages spoken throughout the United States. Today, 175 are still spoken. In addition to Native American families, the United States is home to the descendants of European settlers, African American slaves who were freed in the 1860s, those with Hispanic ancestry from Mexico, Central and South America, and immigrants from around the world. You'll find many interesting things in the United States, including the Great Lakes, which can be found in the upper Mid-East region of North America between Canada and the United States. There are 5 Great Lakes, including Superior, Huron, Michigan, Erie, and Ontario. And they span a total area of 94,600 square miles, and are all connected by a variety of lakes and rivers, making them the largest freshwater system in the world. The Statue of Liberty was a gift from France in 1886 and is located on Liberty Island in the New York City harbor. Today it symbolizes freedom and democracy. The 7 rays on Lady Liberty's crown represent the 7 continents. The farthest south you can travel in the continental United States is Key West, Florida. The point is marked with a giant concrete buoy that says it's only 90 miles off the coast of Cuba. The tallest trees on Earth are also found in the United States. Giant redwoods reaching up to 379 feet tall and 26 feet wide can be found on the Pacific Northwest. The oldest trees in the world are also found in the United States. A bristlecone pine in California's White Mountains is the oldest known living tree in the world. It is 5,064 years old. Alaska is the best place to see the aurora borealis, or the northern lights. This amazing natural light display is caused by electrically charged particles from the sun. When they hit the gases of our atmosphere, they begin to glow. Some Alaskans have an aurora alert. When they see it displaying, they start off a chain of phone calls to let other people know. This month, people all over the United States will be celebrating Thanksgiving. In 1620, settlers from the UK arrived in what is now Massachusetts. Their first winter was very difficult, with little food to eat. But some Native Americans taught them how to farm local crops, and in their second year they had a good harvest. They invited the Native Americans who had helped them to join them for a meal. That meal is still celebrated today as Thanksgiving Day. Today we're going to be reading 2 stories from our book, A Year Full of Stories, 52 Folktales and Legends from Around the World, written by Angela McAllister and illustrated by Christopher Core. Our first story is called How the Pine Tree Chief Got His Name, an Iroquois story. It was a bright day in autumn time, and the forest was busy with birds. A boy was running along the woodland trail in his new moccasins, happy to feel the warm sun on his face, when he noticed something hanging on a branch of a bush. He stopped and gazed in wonder, for it was a little cradle board no bigger than his thumb. The boy had never seen such a small cradle board. He gently lifted it down and held it in his hands. To his surprise, a tiny baby peeped out. The baby stared up at him and laughed. The boy smiled. "You need someone to take care of you, little one," he said. "I'll take you home to Mother. She has 9 children already, but there will be room for you." The boy tucked the little cradle board carefully inside his tunic and turned back towards the trail. But no matter how hard he tried to walk ahead, his feet would not do as he wished, and he found he could only walk around the bush. 3 times around the bush he walked until he heard a sharp, fearful cry. A little woman, no taller than a rabbit, came running down the trail with tears in her eyes. She held her arms out to the boy. "Give me back my baby," she pleaded. The boy realized at once that it was the power of the mother's love for her baby that had kept him from walking away. He lifted the cradle board out of his tunic and carefully put it on the mother's back. "Now your baby is safe where she belongs," he said. The little woman was very grateful. She beckoned to the boy to take off his necklace of beads, Then she took a bright stone from her bag and threaded it onto the necklace. "We little people give this stone to one who protects the weak," she said. "It will bring you whatever you want. You are kind and good. Always wear this stone, and one day you will become a mighty chief." Then the nimble little woman jumped into the branches of the oak tree, with her baby on her back, and disappeared. The boy ran down the trail, proudly wearing the bright stone, and by the time he reached home, he'd caught plenty of food for supper. From that day, just as the little woman had promised, he had good luck in everything. If he went fishing, he caught plenty of fat fish. If he planted corn, it grew tall and fine. He could run faster than all the other boys, shoot an arrow higher, and skim a snake stick further across the snow. "This boy wears the good luck stone," said the old people in his tribe, and they decided to call him Luck in All Moons. As time passed, Luck in All Moons grew taller and stronger. He looked after his mother and his 8 brothers and sisters, and always protected the weak. Many people saw his good deeds and his kind heart. One day, just as the little woman had promised, the elders of his tribe decided to make him a chief. "Luck in All Moons, you serve our people well," they said. "You stand strong and straight like the pine tree, and your feet are planted deep in wisdom. You shall be called the Pine Tree Chief." Then the Pine Tree Chief felt the stone shine brightly at his neck. He remembered the tiny baby, no bigger than his thumb, and he smiled gratefully. Our next story is a North American story called Why the Evergreens Keep Their Leaves. The autumn days were cold. Winter was coming. All the birds flew away to a warmer place. But one little bird had a broken wing and couldn't fly. The little bird shivered. "Maybe the trees will keep me warm through the winter," he thought, and so he hopped to the edge of the wood. He came to a silver birch. "Beautiful birch tree," said the little bird, "will you keep me warm in your branches?" The silver birch rustled. "I have my leaves to look after," she said. "I can't look after you too." The little bird hopped on to the great oak tree. "Mighty oak," she said, "will you keep me warm in your branches?" The oak tree groaned. "I don't want anyone eating my acorns," he said. So the little bird hopped on to where the willow tree grew. "Gentle willow," he said, "will you keep me warm in your branches?" The willow tree shuddered. "I never welcome strangers," she said. The little bird shook his cold feathers and sighed. "Who will help me?" he murmured. "You can live on my branches," said the spruce. "I'll keep you warm all winter." "I'll shelter you from the wind," said the pine tree. "And you may eat my berries," said the juniper. So the grateful bird hopped onto the branches of the spruce and found himself a warm place. That night, the north wind blustered through the wood and blew the leaves from the trees. But he left the trees that were taking care of the little bird. And the kindness of the spruce, the pine, and the juniper is never forgotten. For while the other trees lose their leaves each autumn, those 3 always remain green. Today we're going to be making our own Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights, landscape. For this project, you can pick up a grab-and-go craft kit at the Danbury Library while supplies last, or here are some of the supplies you'll need. A piece of black construction paper, some decorative paper in green or purple, some chalk, cotton balls, a glue stick, and a pair of scissors. First thing we're going to do is cut some trees out of our green paper. Next, we're going to make some hills. Glue on your hills and trees to your paper. Make our northern lights. The northern lights can be a variety of different colors. So take a few different colors of chalk and you're going to scribble a line over your tree line. Once you have your chalk lines, take your cotton ball and swipe up. And there you have your own Aurora Borealis landscape.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Globe Trekkers. Don't forget to pick up your grab-and-go craft kit from the library. And stay tuned for our next episode where we'll be traveling to Africa. Until then, see you next time. Bye!